So, welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews, where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes, their challenges, and what's really driving them forwards. And this morning, I'm delighted to have with us Emily Smailes, who's founder and MD at eMarketing. So, Emily, thank you for spending some time with us. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, eMarketing, what you do, how you help people, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to see how this conversation progresses. So eMarketing is a digital marketing agency, and our sole job is to get businesses seen online by the right
Yeah.
people, be that through social media management, production, email marketing, website builds, SEO. We do it all, and it's all to make your online presence stand out in what is an extremely noisy and crowded online world.
Wonderful. We're very, very, very clear on what you do. And, getting the business name eMarketing, that must have been felt like a quite a win. I'm really impressed.
It's an absolute win, and those that understand SEO know that if you have your name as what it is and say what's on the tin, then you get a higher presence on Google. So having what is means digital marketing agency as your name is really good and an absolute win, and I'm pleased you've recognised it.
100%. I'm really,
And there is a little, it's obviously E meaning digital, but E also stands for Emily. So there's a little
oh,
underline
nice.
from that as
Brilliant.
well.
Absolutely fantastic. No, love both of those things. And what a great thing. So just to sort of help people, anyone that's watching at the moment, what sort of person, business, what makes a great client? What are the ones that you really work best with?
Um, People that share the enthusiasm for what we do in terms of an avatar, we work really well with people that are hungry and want to grow their businesses and understand that you have to invest in digital marketing to be able to get there.
Yeah.
We naturally work really well with. Those that allow us to have creativity as well and allow us to do our job, we work naturally very well with. In terms of industries, predominantly e-marketing covers the property space, be it estate agents, um, designers, architects, developers. We work extremely well in that space because a lot of the work that we do starts with the production. So
Yeah.
we in-house have videographers, photographers, editors, and without these high quality visuals, you can't sell a high quality product. So naturally,
Yes.
we lean towards that premium, higher end kind of
Yeah.
property space because they have to have those standout visuals to attract their client.
Yeah. Perfect. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I love that. So hungry for growth.
Mm,
And the second one really interesting. It's let us be creative. It let trust us to do what we're good at.
yeah.
I think the crazy thing is to engage anybody in any profession and then say this is how I want you to do it.
Uh,
It's but we still
there
get
are
it.
there, unfortunately, that uh,
Absolutely.
do have probably slightly too much control in it. But I say that it still is a blend of both the client and us
Yes.
working together, and the more valuable input that client can have on their business side of things.
Yeah.
We don't know everything about what they do, their history, their quirks, and it's kind of eking that out of the client so that we can
Yes.
do our job better.
Yeah.
But as long as they let us focus on the marketing side and the technical side,
Yep.
and back our opinions on
Yep.
that, and they add the value from the brand, the business, what they've lived for, up to however many years they've been there, then
Yes.
that is the perfect recipe for success.
Brilliant. Love it. Yeah, I guess it's quite similar to the way we describe business coaching as a discipline. In that, what we say is to individuals, we like to consider ourselves as experts in business. You're an
Mm,
expert in your business, and it's the
yeah,
combination of the two that will create the great result, not one or the other in isolation. If that makes sense.
absolutely. And I think it's almost often a barrier as to why people don't contact us because they think, well, how could you possibly know more about my business than I do? We don't, and
Yeah, absolutely.
we're not claiming to.
Yep.
but we know the right questions to ask you to get the result that we want.
Love it. Absolutely. We have similar things with people. What could you possibly? And I
Um,
often say, uh,
yeah,
nothing about your business. What I often say is because we're a global organization, somebody in the world would have worked with a business like yours. But
yeah,
the fact that I haven't is great because I'm going to ask you better questions. I'm
yeah,
not going to
exactly.
assume. I'm not going to think I know, and I think that helps people quite a lot. Um,
Hmm.
so Emily, if we look back to start with, if you could tell us a little bit more about your background, how you got into business, and why this particular one for you.
Yeah. So I've been running a marketing agency for 5 years, digital marketing. Um, and my background was always within sales and marketing. I started a business very young. I was 19, so I'd
Wow.
only had one other job, which was within sales and marketing.
Wow.
Um, I always knew that I wanted to run a business. There was no barrier towards that. I think because of the kind of person that I am and um, extremely determined to reach my goals,
Yeah.
there was no one telling me I couldn't do it.
Brilliant.
Um, and I think that drive has carried out throughout the whole of my 5 years in business. I would be a terrible employee. And I think a lot of business owners can say that.
Yep.
Because I know what I want and how I'm going to get there. And
Yep.
anybody that kind of comes in that way is like, you're getting squashed and I know where I'm going. Um, so it's natural for me to lead a business and run a business and lead teams and people. And I think you've got to stick to your strengths and know what you're good at.
Yeah.
Um, and having the team that do the things that I don't like doing and that aren't natural to me, again, I think is a real recipe for success.
Yeah. Brilliant. I think it's we do in sort of do what we're good at, and I think um,
Yeah.
we there's a guy called Brian Tracy, and one thing he said that we use that as a principle, but um, that the most successful individuals and organizations are the ones where most people spend most of their time doing the three things they really love and they're really good at.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
interesting because recently, Sean and I, so Sean is my business partner, um, and we wrote a list together, and we organized it in terms of green, amber, and red.
yep,
Think tasks that we did and whether we were good at it and whether we enjoyed it. It was
yep,
such a simple task, and I can highly recommend anybody completing this task because it is so interesting where you have double green and then your partner has double red. And
yep,
it's like, okay, that's why we work so well together. I love doing this and I'm good at it, and you
yep.
hate doing it and you're bad at it. And it was such a fun exercise.
Brilliant.
Um, Again, kind of sticking to your strengths. And there were a lot of tasks on that list that we just got rid of and delegated to somebody else. Um, so simple, but for me, actually writing that down, because I think so many people can give you advice, stick to your strengths, don't do that, do this. But actually you have to find your own way. You
Yeah,
can't just listen to someone's advice. You might know that that's the right thing, but you have to find your own way to actually
definitely.
implement that in your business. And that for me worked. It was just really simple.
Definitely. Yeah, it's we use something called we call it the skill fun matrix, which is basically low, medium, and high skill, medium, and high fun.
Mm,
Therefore, if we spend most of our time in high skill, high fun, um, and what we tend to find in general is we like the things we're good at, and we're good at the things we like. It's almost like
yeah.
a self-selecting thing, isn't it? You know, if
Yeah.
I like it, I'm going to get really good at it.
It's
And
very, very rare that you've got an amber in there because it's like you wouldn't be doing it anyway.
No, and what is interesting, and I think one of the barriers people have to delegating, which hopefully you don't, is because I don't like it, I think I'm delegating something somebody else won't like. But as you said,
Yeah.
when you do the exercise with your partner, it's like, no, I love it. Let's give it, just hand it over.
Yeah.
And
Conversation. I do see that definitely, and I've definitely felt that before. Well, I can't give this task to someone because I find it really boring. But it's communicating with them and understanding what your team actually wants to
yep,
do. And again, such a simple question. Do you enjoy this? Do you want to do this? Oh no, but I would. Well, great. You have the task.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
simple.
It's especially in in teams as they're growing is finding people that can can fill those gaps of, well, nobody, oh no, I love it. And you see
Mm.
people's eyes like, oh, I'd love to do that if I could, if I
Yeah.
could do a couple of hours of that every week. Sorry, go on.
Well, it's like for me, all the technical things, problem solving that just takes too long, tedious kind of tasks. I'm more of a creative brain.
Yes,
Um, those kinds of things are perfect for Owen, who works for us. And knowing that and knowing what your team
brilliant.
is good at, again, just makes it far more efficient because you know that person will do it to the best of their ability
Yeah,
and get a good result and better than you ever would.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, and so looking back over those 5 years, what would you say are some of the biggest issues and challenges you've had to overcome, Emily?
So many of them, so many of them. And I think that's the beauty is you have to be able to just take on challenges and know that they will come daily. And no business is perfect at all. Um, I would say for us, biggest challenges that have come, we used to struggle a lot with culture, I would say,
Right?
and we used to struggle hiring and getting the right people
Yep,
within the job. And it was a huge barrier because everyone interviews perfectly. Of course they do. You ask them any question, yes, I'm wonderful at that. And then often it
absolutely.
was we kind of got them into the business and we were like, do you know, you're just not the right fit. Um, and that is something that we've really worked on over the 5 years of me running a marketing agency. And actually documenting that and documenting your culture. And we now have what we call a one page who we are document.
Brilliant.
And that's a huge poster that sits on every single wall within our room. It is literally like the Bible to
Brilliant.
us. And it's filled with values, mission, vision. And I think this is something that is massively overlooked
Yep,
and is something that is so simple. Yet, so many businesses don't have this,
yep.
and it makes the world of difference. Having had that, I now interview purely based on that because if
Brilliant.
you've got the attitude, the skills can follow. That's fine. The skills are a bonus. That's
Completely
good.
agree.
But the attitude is what
Yep,
I've found keeps a person within the business and keeps them there for forever.
yep.
Um, and we've absolutely nailed where we are, where we're going, what we're doing, and who we are.
Brilliant.
Um, and I would again recommend that to every business to have what we call the one page who we are.
Yep,
And really use it. Don't just have it on the wall just
yep.
because it's there and no one really looks at it. Believe in it and review it. We've changed ours recently, actually. We changed it over 3 months ago because there were a couple of quotes. I fill it with quotes as well.
Great.
Um, but there were a couple of quotes on there that I just thought, I can fill that with something better. Not I
Yep.
don't believe in it, but it's not
Yep.
an absolute staple to the company.
Brilliant.
But I now look at that, and it's something that obviously I can share with you after because I can tell you're
Yes.
interested in it.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, but it is so important to have that right, and it really is the staple and foundation of the company, and
Brilliant.
also not just the team but the clients, and
Yep.
making sure that they align with that. And I like the fact that they come in and they live and breathe that as well when
Yep.
they see it on the wall. But it's not just on the wall, it's my lock screen. We speak about it in weekly meetings. We use it as a compass for every decision we make. And the
Love it.
impact of actually having that written down is drastic, totally changed the game. Because when I was dealing with these problems, I still had that mentally in my mind and I knew where I was going and what I was doing, but it wasn't written down. And the
Yes.
difference that makes for the whole team to just have it written down, understand it, even within contracts, all these things, it just makes such a difference.
Brilliant. Love it. Absolutely love it. No, no, yeah, completely agree. I think I mean, going back to, recruitment is exactly exactly as you say. Most people recruit on experience, but ultimately sack on attitude. So
Yeah.
why not cut to the chase and recruit on attitude, given that you can train experience, you can
Mm,
train skills, but you can't,
mm,
you can rarely train experience. But I mean, one of the things I often talk to now, we as a business coaching organisation consider ourselves generalists. So we operate across a whole bunch of things, from a bit of marketing, a bit of sales, a bit of leadership. But
yeah.
don't claim to be a marketing expert. But one of the things I've found is the identity of the organisation, a vision, mission, and culture is
Mm,
a fundamental part of that, who we are. Therefore, it should be a fundamental part of marketing strategies. If people knowing
yeah.
this is us, and if you match in some of those values, then we're probably right for you. And if you don't, we're probably not. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And being kind of cutthroat and knowing that that is acceptable and okay. You don't have to say yes to all the business that comes through your
Yes.
door. You really don't, because it will harm you in the long run.
Yeah.
If a company isn't right for you, it's not right for you. That's fine. But
Absolutely.
work through those problems, and if you can, and you can find a way to work where both businesses are happy, wonderful. That
Yeah.
works for everybody. But if you can't, that's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Brilliant.
matter.
No, absolutely. I've always thought that a good relationships are based on a match of goals. We both want to achieve the same thing.
Yeah,
But great relationships come on a match of values. We both
yeah,
believe the same thing is important, and I think that's where you just get to that next level of, and it just, A grade clients are the ones that believe the same stuff as us, and it becomes so much easier, doesn't it, to work with people that
very
believe the
easy.
same
Yeah,
thing as us. It's a bit of a no-brainer. Um,
yeah.
so whether it's from your challenges or the successes or anywhere else, what are some of the biggest learnings you've got about growing a successful business, Emily?
Um, I would say have the right people in the right places and make sure that they are the right fit for your business. Um, so something that I am not afraid to admit that I'm terrible at is the accounting side of things. I'm great at growing the business, the relationships,
Yep,
knowing kind of the future and what's next. But I'm a terrible analyzer,
yep,
terrible analyzer. Um, I think naturally because of the fact that I am so forwards moving,
yeah,
looking back the last 3 months to me doesn't matter. It's like, so what that's happened,
yep,
let's fit. But I understand, and I understand more so the importance of doing that because without the data, you can't make the decisions moving forwards.
yep,
And I think I've learned to have the right people and communicate the way I am to other people as well.
yep,
Um, communicate to people that are helping us with the growth of the business that this is how to get the best out of me.
yep,
Don't come to me with a spreadsheet of questions and invoices. I can do that via email.
yep,
Come to me with Emily, this is how we're going to move forward. You just got to tell me this one thing, and this is
yep.
why it's important.
Brilliant.
Um, and I think that's the same with other things, that aren't my skill set.
Yes.
Making sure that I communicate how I am to them and how I want them to work with me, and for them to understand that this isn't. I don't find this natural, but I will do it because I know it's important.
Brilliant. Have you ever used any behavioural profiling to help with that sort of team dynamic? Because
Yeah, we have internally. We have internally, and we work with a wonderful, wonderful lady called Bev, who I've known for a very long time, since I was 16. I've known her, and she actually weirdly told me that I'd be great at running a marketing agency. So, kind of trust her opinion.
yes.
And yeah, she's helping us with the team and doing some profiling, and making sure that we are maximizing our people to the best of their ability. um but yeah, understanding the external partners as well, and understanding
Yes.
how they operate and whether they're a good fit for us, and not just choosing it. And because at the
Yep.
start of the business, naturally it was kind of, who do you recommend for HR? Who do you recommend for this? Who do you recommend for that? And you just take whoever you trust's opinion and go with it. But
Yes.
then you kind of grow your business to a certain size and think, no, I really need to stand on my own 2 feet here and understand that this person isn't the right fit and this person
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And not
Well,
just for me either. I think that's another lesson that I've learned recently a lot. It's not my opinion. It's the business's opinion, and it's what's right for the business. And it's
yes,
hard. There's a third line because you're making the decisions. Often you think, well, that doesn't fit with me. That I don't like that person, or I don't think that that's the right decision to make because they just annoyed me. Well, no, 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 no. That doesn't.
yeah,
It is the business's decision, and the
yeah,
business is the person that if it's right for that business, then that's the decision made.
yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, that might come us to the next question. As I say, I think you're aware we're a business coaching organisation. So I'm keen
Mm.
to know the best coaches you've worked with, whether that's business, sport, life in general. Who has had the biggest impact on you?
Um, I would say three people. I would say Bev has had a huge impact
Brilliant.
because um, she's really helped on kind of a coaching perspective and supporting the team and getting the most out of the team. I would say John T. Warnacan as well. He's our non-executive chairman. So he is, after this, I'd like to look him up because his successes are second to none. But to give you a summary, he's a 4 times Guinness World Record holder. He's disabled, he has one leg. He's the first man to swim a mile in ice water.
Wow.
He's from the Channel. He's
Wow.
just an unbelievable guy with an incredible mindset, but he has a business background, sorry, in financial services.
Yeah.
So he helps again with the side that I'm not really as
Yes.
comfortable with. And he helps us make really balanced decisions. And he really does help just a well-rounded decision rather than a quick shoot from the hip Emily decision.
Yeah.
So I would say him. And then my dad, I would say as well, because he was, I mean, he runs Feather Smale Scales, an estate agency in Harrogate. And naturally, I feel I can do what I can do because I've just watched him my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he just gave me the belief to be able to do it.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Wonderful. What a great set of mentors and coaches.
Yeah, I'm gonna rack my brains now and think, oh God, I forgot so and so, but
It's okay. It's all good.
yeah.
And whether it's from them or other places, you said you've got some on your culture statements. What are your favourite quotes or sayings about business or success or just life in general?
Yeah, we have a few again. These are all written down on our wall. But for us, um, I would say all problems have solutions. That's
Yep.
a saying that I absolutely love. You know, no matter how big the problem is, there is a solution to it. So don't
Yep.
worry about it. I love that. Um, we grow outside our comfort zone. Again, something that I naturally really like. The more, and this is something that I've been saying recently to Alicia, she won't mind me saying this, we've just discussed that she needs to feel more uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable she feels, the more she's growing. So I've said to her throughout the whole of 2026, I want you to feel really uncomfortable. And she kind of looked at me like, is that meant to be a nice thing you're saying? So this is a nice thing that I'm saying. The more uncomfortable you feel and the more things that you do that are outside your comfort zone, the more you will grow. And you'll look back in 20 from when we're in 2027, sat down discussing this and go, wow,
Yeah.
these are all the things I couldn't do and now I can, and it's easy.
Brilliant. Love it. That I'm trying to think where I got this quote from just the other day. And it might well be a film. I collect lots of quotes from films. There's some great ones out there. But
Mhm.
somebody said, um, "An easy life doesn't necessarily create a great character."
Yeah,
And I
totally agree
just
with
think it's
totally agree with that. Nothing smooth sailing. And I think social media has a lot to play with that. You know, it's obviously the industry we're in, and
yes,
you do naturally show the best.
yeah,
But I think it is becoming more real
yeah,
because of demand and the actual mental health implications that it has had. And I think more and more it is becoming more real, and people are
yeah.
celebrating people just being really open and raw and
Yes,
not fake and staged. because you can just spot it a mile off.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you mentioned problems before, which I think it comes into this. I remember our CEO at one point. One thing he said to me, which I thought was really helpful, was he said, "Chris, the job of a business owner is to solve problems."
Mm.
And he basically said, and he sort of said, if you don't like problems, probably not. It's probably not the best role for you. And it is,
No,
yeah.
definitely.
And what I've come
And
to believe,
as
Emily. Sorry, go on.
I would really agree with that. Even yesterday, I was sat in the office and we had a couple of problems, as you do, and naturally, everyone hears the problems that you have because we're all sat in one room. And I remember Sasha saying to me, "Oh, Emily, you've dealt with a lot of problems today." And I just looked back at her and I went, "I love it." And she looked at me like, "Really?" I was like, I love it because I've found the solution and now I feel like I'm one step further than I was
Yep.
yesterday to bring on the problems.
Absolutely. I've sort of I pondered on this. I was told this a few years back, and I actually believe that problems. If we don't have any problems, we're probably not growing fast enough. Because
Yeah,
is
totally.
that it's a function of growth, isn't it? That we create problems because we're changing and doing new things. So it might feel great for a little while not to have any problems, but it probably means we're not pushing ourselves. And I
Yeah,
think it's
probably in terms of reflection, one thing I'm terrible at, um, it does help you reflect if you look at what your problems were a year ago,
yeah,
because you kind of it's almost laughable that they were your problems because it's like, well, that was such an easy fix. And now these are my problems and they
love it.
seem bigger, but
Yeah.
it's a nice marker.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, it's a great one to sort of. Yeah, I used to think that was a problem. Now it's sort of just not even a thing. Um, and
Back
and
on
so,
what I said of the hiring process.
yes,
So through e-marketing, everybody has stayed. There's not one that we've
oh well,
hired and thought, oh, this is
well,
not quite the right person. And I really truly believe it's because we sorted and wrote down our culture.
yes, yeah. No, I can completely sign on to that. I remember a business I worked with over in Ilkley, and that I think it was something like we went from 8 people to 48 in about 3 years, and
Mm,
over that period, only let's get this right. It was something like I got to get this right. Only 3 people. I think it was 3 people did leave, but 3 people left. Um,
yeah,
of which 2 came back. So
yeah,
it was,
impressive.
so we're still creating that thing. It was just people felt a need to go somewhere else. So when you get that right,
Mm,
when recruitment is based on values and culture, you tend to get people that come for the long term. And I remember one of the quotes, the one the last time I was there, and they were running one of the we have like a group recruitment process, which allows us to get more people in to find the people with great attitude. And the chairman there said they just recruited somebody, and they said coming to the first day of work was like coming to see your friends. And you
totally.
sort of get it when you get something like that. You know you've got it right. I think when people are
Yeah,
actively going, "Oh, first day, I'm going to have a chat with
yeah,
them," and
better. Yeah,
just brilliant.
yeah.
And so on the learning front again, any favourite books or podcasts you could recommend about business or success in general?
Yeah, definitely. I listen more than I sit down and read a physical book.
Yep,
Purely because that works for me. And I can do it listening in the car. I can do it when I'm on a walk. I can do it when I've got a bit of downtime. A podcast I do listen to religiously is The Diary of a CEO.
yep,
Although I'm sure a lot of people have mixed opinions on Stephen Bartlett. Um, I think the guests that are on are phenomenal, and you can get so many little nuggets
yes,
from what they say. I recently listened to one with a behavioral psychologist, and she was speaking about body language and the impact that that has.
yes,
And I find that kind of stuff
yeah,
fascinating because naturally my role is more so the sales side and managing the
yep,
team. So to me, those tiny little things are so
yep,
important. And again, it's interesting when speaking to Sean because we are polar opposite. Um, and he does not see the importance in any of that. He thinks that that's a tiny, minor
right,
thing that no one picks up on, and why would you even listen to that? And it's like, but then again, I think the same about things he listens to. So it's great. We're
Yeah,
coming at two totally different angles, and it's
bang on.
wonderful. Um, but yeah, I do read and listen to a lot of books. Alex Hormozy, from a marketing point of view,
Yeah,
is a wonderful person
yes,
to read. Million Dollar Offers, all of his books. I like Clockwork as well. I think that's a really powerful book. Um, and again, I'll just listen to these, but what I do and works for me is listen to them once, make the notes, and
yeah,
then just listen to them again.
yeah,
And then often if I notice something slightly different, then I add that to my notes, and I find it interesting that I've not heard that the first time round.
great.
Uh, but I have to say it is time consuming, and I'm not perfect in that I have all the time in the world to do this. It takes me, I set how I've got 5 books I need to read this year. So I set myself targets.
Brilliant.
Might not do that, but um I like having something written down so that I know I can try and achieve that. But it is hard. It takes me over a year to be able to kind of actually read it twice, obviously, because
Yes.
it's a time thing. But it's what you prioritize. Everyone has the same time. It's just what they
Yeah.
prioritize.
What we do with it. I absolutely agree. And absolutely learning, um, we typically learn what we need to at the point of which we read the first time, and then learn
Mm,
something new the second time because we're probably in a different place. So even having a
yeah,
gap between the two readings is quite valuable because you can go, well, actually, I'm going to learn something new because I'm still in a slightly different place, even if it's 3 months, 6 months later. It's yeah, wonderful.
and
And
markers of success, I'd say, when you read it through a different point and a point maybe a year on, then it's like all those things you've actually ticked the boxes of is
yes.
a nice reflection point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That we've actually implemented some of the learnings we've got from it, which is pretty cool. And still on the learning front, what would you say you've learned about yourself throughout your journey so far?
So many things. So many things. I think I know the kind of person I am, and I've known that from a very young age. I think I'm very self-aware.
Yep,
Um, but you can always be more self-aware. And I think having Bev to support me as well is a really interesting thing because she will pick up on things that still I might not know myself. And she
yep,
goes, Em, I can feel that you're tense about this. And I know why you're tense about this because you're this kind of character and you're thinking about X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, we've already bypassed a whole problem here. Like, I'm with you. I
brilliant.
can now listen and have my ears open to what you're about to say. And I think one thing as you probably see a recurring pattern here that I'm trying to work on is my reflection.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm taking it in steps that are manageable to me. I'm
yep,
not going, okay, let's start tracking all of these figures. I'm going, let's start tracking 3.
yeah,
Because that is more than I did before.
yeah,
And I can see the benefit of it, and then I can move forwards and add 10.
yeah,
Um, so I think reflection for me is something which is weird because from a business perspective, I'm not good at it. But then when I do it for clients, because we do success reports and we do them
yeah,
every quarter, when I do it for clients, I find it really easy, and I understand the importance for it when I'm
yes,
delivering to them. And
yep,
often you might think, well, Emily, why is that figure so important? I'm like, well, of course it is.
yep.
This is where we were and this is where we are now. So it's really weird.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, and it's just I think the thing is to try and make that connection, isn't it? Once we make that connection with our own personal numbers, then all of a sudden it becomes obvious. But yeah, no, I totally get that. And we have a phrase in Action Coach of a definition of a true business, which is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without its owners. I'm
Yeah.
keen to know what your thoughts are about that as a definition.
I find that extremely interesting. Um, and weirdly enough, something that I am working on at the minute. Um, naturally, the business has relied on
Yes.
myself from starting it. But I think I'm probably my own problem in that as well, because I make it rely on myself because of the actions I take and because of
Yep.
it all comes from care. You care so much.
Yes.
So you do the task and you don't mind doing the overtime and you don't mind doing this and you don't mind doing that. But often you don't realize that actually you're causing your business harm because it's then reliant on you. Um, and we're trying to document far more of our processes
Brilliant.
and things almost have like the Emily touch or magic that needs me.
Yep.
I'm documenting,
Yep.
and we're um actually just having that within our CRM system and a place for that so that it doesn't have to rely on me the whole time.
Brilliant.
Um and also something that I've done in recent times is let other people step up. We've given Alicia, who's been with us from the very beginning, a promotion to be able to manage the team.
Brilliant.
Um, and already the impact of that is phenomenal. Even within the first week, it made such a difference.
Brilliant.
And it's a shared positive effect for both the company and her as well.
Yep.
Um, because she was obviously wanting that control and that next step up.
Yep.
She's naturally fit right into it because she's been here forever and she knows the business
Brilliant.
inside and out.
Brilliant.
Um, so yeah, so many lessons learned. I mean, I could speak to you for hours. I'm really enjoying this.
Me too. Me too. It's no, it's just fascinating. I mean, the whole dynamic of businesses as a collection of people, and and then you bring the clients in, and it's just a wonderful
Mm,
dynamic. Me too.
I love, I live and breathe it.
Fantastic. No, I asked the question about the definition because I do. I mean, one of the things we do a lot of work on is that challenge of as individuals, we're rightly told culturally that the harder we work, the more successful we'll be, and that's an absolute truth. The, the
Mm,
the challenge for business owners, I think, is we get to a point where the business is taking off, and if the next stage of growth is based on us, we still believe about that, then we become the bottleneck, we become the limit to the growth of the
yeah,
business because it's about us, and but that's a massive mindset change from
yeah.
what do I do? Right, we need to get, what do I do? To who
Gosh,
am I going to get to do it? Very difficult for driven people. Like it feels like definitely that you are, you clearly are. So that is a
so
challenge
much.
and can be a challenge.
And I think often I've seen it, particularly in slightly older business owners, that it's harder to change an older mindset because that's they've had more years living the same thing and it's
Yes.
worked. So to
Yep.
tell them to do something else is really hard. But I've seen that a lot in older business owners that are trying to step away and they're like, well, how can I? How can I?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I'm pulling all these strings and people are coming to me for all these answers. Um and I think I feel like I've got a bit of a power because I'm learning that so young
Yep.
so that I don't have to be in that situation
Great.
where it's all relying on me.
Great. Yeah. No. It's the quicker from what I've learned, and what I've seen, the quicker you're able to move into that different mode
Mm.
of thinking, the more successful you and everyone around you
Uh,
will be, and it's empowering to others. It's like, sorry.
I agree. You can't. You're. It's the value, isn't it, that the person feels that they are adding value and that makes them happy. And it's a really hard mindset to try change that. And we're not saying, you're not valuable. It's just it needs to be on the business, not on you.
Yeah.
You've made the business. So there you go. There's your little kickback. There's your serotonin from it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wow.
Yeah. It's not, yeah, it needs to change for everyone's benefit, including and especially the owner, because as I say, if we end up, I mean, unfortunately, one of the reasons I do this is because in my first business, I ended up doing 100-hour weeks because I didn't get this, and
Mm,
that pretty much nearly killed me. So it was like
in-
it's that learning of, and I heard a lady called Jennifer Burns speak a couple of years ago, and she was ex CTO at Microsoft, so she was very, very capable lady. She does a lot of stuff, different stuff now, but she said in the US, they when they recruit C-suite executives, they actively test them on their ability not to do things.
Oh, interesting.
And I was surrounded by lots of business owners, and they're all going, "Did she actually say not?" And we were like, "Yeah, she did," because that's our job is now to help other people do it well. That's the key shift, and it's so difficult.
Mm.
Um, so Looking forward then, Emily, what does the future look like for you guys, and what challenges do you think you might face, if any?
Um, Growth is the next phase, as it has been throughout the year. And I think naturally that will come with challenges. We need to grow quite significantly, set on the targets that we set in
Brilliant.
our last thing. Um, and I think that will come with challenges because the more that you add to the company, um, a lot of people say, if you don't solve your problems in the first instance, you're just adding to your problems when you're trying to grow.
Yep.
Um, so we're really
Yes.
trying to ensure our operations are as slick as possible and that everything is documented again so that there's less reliance on us because we can't be answerable to all of the people, the clients, everything that's going to come with this growth.
Yep.
Um, so I think although growth is the opportunity, it is the challenge for 2026 for us.
Yeah.
Um, but the more I learn, and I'm sure there is double what I already know that's out there that I need to learn, um, the more I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, Emily, really has been fascinating to talk to you, and I really I can see wherever you choose to go, you're going to get there without a shadow of a doubt. And thank you
No
so
doubt
much.
in that.
Sorry.
No doubt in that I will get there.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. I don't even need to tell you that. Yeah. And for anyone that's watching would like to get in touch with you or e-marketing, what would be the best way of doing that?
Social media
Brilliant,
or through our website. We're on all social media, obviously. Or website, you can email me through there.
brilliant. Well, look, it'd be great to swing by another 6 to 12 months and just see
Yeah.
what 2020 or 2026 has delivered for you. But for now, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's been a pleasure.
It has really been brilliant. Thank you.